Lake Norman is known for its 520 miles of shoreline and lake-living lifestyle. You thinking about moving here? My wife Erin and I have lived here for about 10 years now and have been selling real estate since 1992. Dang, that sounds like a really long time ago, doesn't it? Well, since landing in the Lake Norman area, we have helped so many people just like you move here, and we absolutely love what we do. In this video, I break down the top 10 pros and cons of living in the Lake Norman area. Make sure to stick around for the last con, where I cover all the green stuff over Lake Norman. Just keep in mind, this is coming from our perspective, having relocated to Lake Norman ourselves from the West Coast. We hope this might help you decide if Lake Norman might be the right place for you. What's up, everybody? It's Lake Norman Mike delivering another video on all things Lake Norman. If this is your first time on our channel and you want to know what it's like to work, eat, live, sleep, and play, as well as all the pros and cons of living in the Lake Norman area, make sure to tap the subscribe button, ring the bell so you can keep up on all our newest videos. Just so you know, we're committed to producing this content each and every week. Also, if at any point in this video you need help navigating the real estate market here, hit pause, reach out to me directly using the contact information in the description below, or drop a question in the comments, and I'd be happy to offer my guidance for free. All right, you ready? Let's get into it. Pro number one of living in Lake Norman, it's gotta be location. You live in the Lake Norman area, there's nothing better for those that love the outdoors. It's really hard to describe. Like, living on a lake is what many people dream about, right? There's just something about being able to roll up, park your boat in your dock right in your backyard. It makes you feel like you're always on vacation. Activities. The lake offers endless possibilities for water-based activities. Think about it. You got boating, fishing, water skiing, kayaking, wakeboarding, and something my wife Erin loves to do, which is paddleboard. The lake also has several marinas, yacht club, waterfront dining options that you can boat up to and enjoy lunch, dinner, or just a few cocktails. The sunsets are incredible. We're out there a lot, especially if you're on the lake when they happen. The beach. You're only 3.5 to 4 hours from the beach, depending on whether you prefer Myrtle, Ocean Isle, or Wrightsville Beach. Although they're not right in your backyard, they are an easy drive from the Lake Norman area. The airport. For those that need to travel, the Charlotte Douglas International Airport is only a 30 to 45 minute drive, depending on the city you live in around Lake Norman. The mountains. You're about 2-hour drive to the Blue Ridge Parkway and the mountains, with hundreds of some of the most amazing biking and hiking trails in the country. Erin and I love to hike, especially in the fall season, and we make several trips up each year. Craft beers. If you love a craft beer, you gotta stop in the town of Asheville, where 40+ craft breweries can be found. Our two favorite breweries are Wicked Weed and Green Man. If you like a great IPA, make sure to check these out. If you love the outdoors, this place is hard to beat because of the endless options you have, all within a short driving distance. Pro number two, the weather. Well, other than what I will cover in con number two, that is. Erin and I came from Northern California, and we really only had 2 seasons, whereas here you actually have all 4. It really makes you appreciate each changing time of year. Starts with the spring when temperatures begin to warm up and everything begins to bloom. Since most of our trees here are deciduous, it's like a massive color explosion. For those that live on the lake, you really begin to count down the days until the boating season, which begins in May. Summer? I might have said that was the worst part of the year when Erin and I first relocated here, but now it's all about lake life and enjoying all the summer activities that go along with it. Just so you know, the temperature often reaches into the low to mid 90s, with a few days here and there actually hitting the century mark. It's the humidity that scares some people away, especially if they come from a place that didn't have it. Fall. Our favorite time of the year by far. The weather cools down quite a bit, you can still enjoy evening cruises on the lake, and the fall color here is amazing. People travel from all over to visit the color of North Carolina. And Aaron and I still make the drive up to the Blue Ridge Parkway every year for an extended weekend to appreciate the colors of the season. Winter? Pretty mild. Since we relocated, I think we've had, maybe 3 or 4 times it snowed. And when I say snow, we're talking about 2 to 4 inches on average, and it's usually gone within a day or two. Temperatures are mostly in the 30s and 40s, but can drop into the teens on occasion. That being said, both Aaron and I long for spring warm-up every single year. All right, pro number 3, hospitality. It's a very real thing here in the South. If I had to describe it, I'd say it's like receiving a big old hug from Grandma. It's basically the way they make you feel welcome and at home, basically. Now beware, they will chat your ear off, feed you until you can't move, even if you're a stranger. All right, so I might be exaggerating just a little bit, but in all honesty, the people here are super, super friendly. I must admit, we came from a place where oftentimes you only saw your neighbor when you were pulling in and out of your garage. Nobody really went out of their way to say hello. Here it's a whole different animal. When Aaron and I first relocated here, I often joked about how I'd always look out the peephole. I'd be like on the front door before heading out to the mailbox to grab our mail. We just knew if the neighbors were out, we'd be in for a 20-minute conversation. Now we embrace it and truly enjoy the Southern hospitality. All right, pro number 4, real estate taxes. Wow, this was substantial difference for us. Now keep in mind, if you're looking in the Lake Norman area specifically, tax rates are different by county. A general rule of thumb for cities of Mooresville, Troutman, Terrell, Sherrills Ford, and Denver all run about 0.7%. To give you some calculations on that, if you were to buy a $1 million home in any of these cities, you could simply calculate 1 million times 0.007 to come up with the annual tax, which would be approximately $7,000 per year. On the other hand, the cities of Cornelius and Huntersville cost you about 1.2%, or $12,000 per year for the same $1 million property, almost twice as much. For this calculation, simply take the value times 0.012 and you've got your tax bill. Keep in mind, each city is slightly different, but this will get you really close to what your taxes might look like. If you're considering retirement, where you live on the Lake Norman will impact your annual tax bill and could impact your decision as well. On a side note, we also found utilities, car insurance, and fuel to be about 35% less on average when compared to what we paid in California. Pro number 5, there is a lake home and lifestyle for everyone. I'll be doing a video specifically covering this in much more detail in the very near future, as it's a question we get a lot. You see, the east side of the lake, encompassing cities of Cornelius, Mooresville, and Huntersville, are much different than the west and the northwest part of Lake Norman, which covers Troutman, Sherrills Ford, Terrell, and Denver. We call the west side the quiet side of the lake, as it's a bit more spread out and has more of a rural feel. When I say rural, I'm not talking about acres of empty land or farm country. I'm just talking about the fact there's a bit more distance between restaurants and grocery stores. You just have fewer options on the west side of the lake. The east side of the lake has a lot more density and is built out quite a bit more, so dining options are in abundance, basically. You've got a whole bunch of different options. Lifestyle, if you're into country club living, this will be found on the east side of the lake in neighborhoods like the Point in Mooresville and the Peninsula in Cornelius. The west side of Lake Norman doesn't really have these types of communities, although it's still just as beautiful and has its fair share of stunning neighborhoods. Prices on waterfront property can range from a fixer in the $600,000 range to north of $16 million for a home sitting on the main channel. In other words, you can buy a waterfront 4-square bungalow on a country road or a $16 million mansion in one of the country clubs. There's just something for everyone here. For example, we have clients who absolutely love the west side of the lake and others who say, no thanks, it's not for me. Again, I will go into much more detail in future videos, so if you want to learn about each specific neighborhood, make sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you receive the alerts when we drop our next video. There's much to cover on the east side versus west side of Lake Norman living. It's a debate, and it will be covered in detail. Okay, it's time for the cons of living in Lake Norman. Con number 1, it's a party on the lake at certain times of the year. Holiday weekends during the summer can be a little rough. We have all seen the Allstate Mayhem commercials, right? Well, that is what it's like on Lake Norman over the 4th of July weekend. It's like someone rolled out a huge dance floor on top of Lake Norman, replaced all the people dancing with boats, with each one playing a different genre of music. Okay, I may be going a bit overboard again, but just keep in mind, we are a destination location here on Lake Norman, so many people vacation here during the summer and especially around the weeks before, during and after the 4th of July. Don't let me scare you off though. It was really hard for me to find 5 cons for living in the Lake Norman area. Just remember, we have 520 miles of shoreline to enjoy. You just might want to stay away from waterfront restaurants and some of the popular wakeboard coves during these few weeks of the year. Pretty simple. Con number 2. Why did my glasses just fog up when I got out of the car? I mentioned weather in pro number 2, but this is a con for the same category, humidity. Okay, no joke, for real. From parts of June through August, the humidity here is almost like your body decided to create its own personal sauna. No membership required. If I'm going to be in and out of the car all day, I always pack a spare shirt in the trunk, just in case. And if you wear glasses, rest assured, they will completely fog up every time you open the door of your air-conditioned vehicle and step outside. I guess on the positive side, the plants love it, and it's why it stays so green for most of the year here. All right, I might be exaggerating a little bit here, but you have to realize we came from a climate where we had no humidity, so this caught us a bit off guard. Just know it's here, it's a very real thing. Took us a few years to acclimate, and now we have just learned to roll with it like everyone else who lives here does. The positives of the location far outweigh the negative of a short stint of humidity in the summer months. All right, con number 3, bugs. Now come on, you knew I had to mention this one, right? It's to be expected since we live in a humid subtropical climate, which provides a warm and damp environment where critters tend to thrive. They say spiders, termites, and bugs are just bigger in the south. The insects I hate the most though, the termite. They say the only homes in the south that get termites are the ones that have them, and those that will get them soon. Okay, not 100% true, but termites are a real problem here in North Carolina. Aaron and I just went through a build and have a termite bond from a local pest company. They come out and set bait traps and around the perimeter of the house to attract the termites and keep them away from your property. Something I would highly recommend looking into if you relocate here. Spiders on your dock. If you live on the lake, the dang spiders are relentless over the water on any structure. I can take down all the webs during the summer months on a daily basis, and they return the very next day. It's crazy. Also, if you have a permanent cover over your boat slip, it's still a good idea to cover your boat with a normal cover, as the spiders like to do their business all over your boat. And trust me, it's not fun to get it off your vinyl seats. It's a pain. Mosquitoes. What? These guys are so big they could pick your pet and fly first class all the way to Texas. No, I'm just kidding. Before relocating, I read so many stories about the mosquitoes and how bad they were. And to be 100% honest, I get bitten in my backyard in California more often than I have here. And we live on the lake, so don't buy into all the stories you hear about the bugs. They're not that bad and can easily be controlled. We simply hire the same pest control company who baits our termite traps to keep the critters and mosquitoes at bay, and it works fine. Con number 4, got rake, blower, the leaves. What is up with all the dang leaves in the fall? I swear it's like going to a confetti party hosted by your trees in your yard. You know when you throw confetti at a party, it covers everything. Well, that's exactly what happens in the Lake Norman area of North Carolina. You learn to roll with it, and there can be a few downsides to the big party, like clogged gutters and the need to blow and rake every other day. On the bright side, our boxer Dana, she loved jumping in the piles. For Aaron and I, however, we'd be okay with just having some fall color, the greenery, but wish the leaves could just stay on the trees. But you can't have it all, right? All right, drum roll please. Con number 5 is the green monster. And no, I'm not talking about the rumored creature in Lake Norman they refer to as Normie, which we will save that for another video. I'm talking about the storm of pollen that arrives sometimes between March and April for about 3 weeks each year. It's that time of year when Mother Nature decides to dust off all her old plant material and send it flying into the air like a sneeze-inducing snowstorm. You might not want to leave the house without a box of tissue and a few inhalers. The entire town, to include the lake, gets covered in a greenish yellow blanket. Expect to bring all your outdoor furniture in. Make sure your power washer is tuned up and ready to roll, as you will need it when we turn the corner. And as far as washing your car, forget about it until this is passed. Erin has some pretty bad allergies, and you tend to want to stay in more than out when it's windy outside. And I'm not kidding, you can literally see a fine green colored mist in the skies. It's short-lived though, and all part of living here in North Carolina. Well, that's a wrap on another one. I hope you all found some value from this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up. We appreciate the support, and be sure to check out some of our other upcoming videos. If you're looking into relocating, buying or selling real estate in the Lake Norman area, please feel free to reach out to me. My email address, phone number, Calendly link is all in the description below, and I'd be happy to set a time to meet with you one-on-one. You can also visit LakeNormanMove.com, where you can see all the latest listings in Lake Norman. And once again, if you enjoyed this video and would like to be alerted on future videos, make sure to hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so you receive all the alerts. Well, until next time, friends, hope to see you on Lake Norman. Take care.